All right, today we are diving deep into something a little unsettling. It's called dark psychology. And using the work of author Daniel James Hollins as our guide, we're going to pull back the curtain on the kind of manipulative tactics that are happening all around us, often right under our noses. So let's just jump right in with a pretty wild question. Are we all born predators? I know, it's a shocking thought, right? But according to the theories behind dark psychology, this is the core idea we have to start with. And it totally challenges how we usually think about human nature. So how do we even begin to answer a question like that? Well, we've got to start by looking at the darkness within us. This is all about exploring that really unsettling theory, the idea that maybe, just maybe, there's an inner predator inside every single one of us. You know, most of us have probably heard of positive psychology, right? It's all about uplifting the human spirit, finding fulfillment, all that good stuff. Well, dark psychology, it's like its shadow self. It completely flips the script. Instead of studying our best side, it looks at our potential for predatory behavior. Yeah, our capacity for evil. And this is where the theory gets super specific. It's not saying some people are just born evil. The idea is that everyone has this potential to victimize others. The big difference? Most of us learn to keep those impulses in check. But some people, well, they act on them. So let's put a clear definition on it. Dark psychology is the study of the human condition, specifically our psychological nature to prey on others. And here's the creepy part, often for reasons that don't even have a clear purpose or motivation. It's not just about getting money or power. Sometimes it's something much darker. Okay, and here's where the theory gets really controversial. The claim is that our normal state, our factory setting, if you will, is actually cruel and violent, and that all of society's rules, our laws, our ethics, they're just a mask, an elaborate cage we've built to keep our inner predator locked up. So if this dark potential is actually a thing, how does it play out in the real world? That brings us right to our next section, the art of manipulation. We're going to look at exactly how these predators supposedly get past your natural defenses. The main tool in their toolbox, it's something called covert emotional manipulation. And that word, covert, is absolutely key. We're not talking about obvious threats or bullying. No, this is a hidden process. It's designed to get into someone's head, targeting their subconscious thoughts and emotions so they can be controlled without even knowing it's happening. And according to the book, this isn't just random. It's a calculated 3-step process. Step 1, build rapport. Get you to like them, to trust them, to lower your guard. Step 2, bypass the critical mind. They use specific tricks to get you to stop thinking logically. And only then, once your defenses are down, comes step 3, deliver the command. Okay, so we get the process, but what are the actual tools they use? That's what our next section is all about, weapons of influence. We're going to break down the specific tactics that are used against you. First up, let's talk about a big one, something used on a massive scale, propaganda. Now, we tend to think of it as just biased ads or something, right? But from a dark psychology perspective, it's way more than that. It's a weapon designed to bypass your logical brain entirely and appeal directly to your emotions. All right, now let's zoom in from the huge crowds to a simple one-on-one conversation. A key tool here is something called neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP for short. Basically, it's a whole collection of techniques that use specific words and body language to change how you behave and, to unduly influence you. And what's crazy is just how subtle these tactics are. You've got stuff like mirroring, where someone subtly copies your body language to make you feel connected to them. Or anchoring, where they use certain words to trigger emotions they want you to feel. And then there are hidden commands, sneaking suggestions into normal sentences. The whole point is for you not to even notice it's happening. Now for a really specific and honestly pretty controversial example of this in action, pickup artist or PUA techniques. This is basically a system that takes bits of pop psychology and game theory and weaponizes them to seduce a target. And a big part of it is creating a power imbalance right from the get-go. So what does that actually look like? Well, you have tactics like negging. That's when someone gives you a subtle put-down, like a backhanded compliment, to lower your self-esteem and make you want their approval. Then there's misdirection to hide their real intentions, and escalation, using physical touch to move things along quickly. It's all about controlling the interaction. So you might be wondering, who actually uses these tactics? Well, according to the book, the biggest group is narcissists and sociopaths, which kind of makes sense. But look at the rest. It also points to people in everyday professions. Salespeople, politicians, leaders, even public speakers. They might be using these techniques, consciously or not, just to be more persuasive.
Okay, after hearing all of that, I'm sure the biggest question on your mind is, what in the world can I do about it? So let's get into our final section, how to defend yourself. It's time to build your mental shield.
So, what's your first line of defense? It's actually not some complicated secret technique. It's just knowledge. Seriously. Simply being aware that these tactics exist is the most powerful shield you can have. Just knowing about propaganda, about NLP, that's step one. So let's build out your defensive toolkit. It's a 4-step process. First, you've got to recognize the tactics as they're happening. Second, study the methods. The more you know, the better. And the last 2 steps are all about action. Use assertive communication to speak up for yourself. And fourth, set strong, clear boundaries that you don't let anyone cross. Period. And look, you can't overestimate the power of being assertive. Manipulation, by its very nature, loves the dark. It works best when it's hidden, but the moment you call someone out on their underhandedness, they lose all their advantage. The power dynamic shifts back to you. You know, at the end of the day, learning about all this stuff isn't just about being able to spot predators. It's also about understanding that fine line between ethical influence and straight-up manipulation. The book suggests a really simple test. The golden rule. Treat others how you'd want to be treated. If you wouldn't want a tactic used on you, don't use it on someone else. Your intention really is everything. So we'll leave you with this final thought. The world is absolutely saturated with influence, from advertisers, politicians, maybe even in our own relationships. And if the ideas of dark psychology hold any water, a lot of that influence might be way more manipulative than we realize. So the big question is, now that you can see the strings, who's pulling them?